Boys, how professional are we feeling?
I've got the jacket on and everything.
I'm sat next to a professional, so I am a professional by proxy.
You're a professional normal. You are paid to be here.
That's true, actually.
Minimally.
Yeah, minimally, yeah.
Boys, lift the cloche.
Go on, chef.
It's a shiny thing under a shiny thing. What's that?
Today, a chef and a normal home cook are going to be testing some kitchen gadgets that are designed to be used in a professional kitchen.
Instantly, Mike pulled up the safety guard and started prodding it with his fingers.
Yeah, normal. That's what I'm here for, guys. I do it so you don't have to. I think it's sharp. It's got rollers.
The plug is continental, so it is from Europe somewhere, we think. There's rollers, 3 of them, and 2 have got incisions in them. I think it's a professional, whatever that means, pasta roller.
Boys, you're spot on. This is the Imperia Pasta Presto electric pasta machine.
Pasta presto.
Make fresh Italian-style pasta in minutes with the Imperia Pasta Presto. Powered by an 85-watt motor, this electric pasta making machine comes with 15-centimetre rollers for lasagna and built-in cutters for tagliatelle and fettuccine.
Notice how you guessed correctly and he said, congratulations, boys. Again, proxy.
Works.
You keep on getting them right.
I like the fact that we've got these 2 guards which you can move around to use just one roller at a time, depending on whether you want plain sheets, fettuccine or tagliatelle.
To me, that felt like a really simple solution, rather than having 3 different rollers and a switch to say which roller you want to turn on.
So
just put a safety guard over it.
That's the differentiator, isn't it? That
You're
it's
not-
all the rollers in one.
Yeah, you're not subbing in one attachment for another as you might do on a home version where you plug it into like a stand mixer and that's the roller. You can plug another one in which will cut it, but you have to buy them individually. This is all in one.
I'm in.
Do you want to make some pasta?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it. I'm no expert, but that starts off incredibly thin already. So I think the first bit you absolutely need to do a little bit by hand or whatever, just to get it to a place that will go through.
It's the Italian way, Ebbers.
Should we try it?
Yeah, do you want me to dust? Otherwise, I'm literally just sat here with nothing
You can
to
dust
offer.
if you want, but I don't think...
Okay, fine. I'll sit here with literally nothing to offer.
Can you push the button? The first bit that's gone through will go like that, so we've got a square edge, and we'll go again.
So the machine claims that it automates the rolling process, which saves on manual labour and time compared to manual rollers. We reckon this is probably more suited to smaller commercial kitchens. Ebbers, I don't know if you've seen sort of the bigger rollers.
Yeah, I mean, what you've just described is no different to all of the pasta rollers we've attached to stand mixers over the years, so this isn't new to us. Now, change our guard at the top and we'll cut it.
Let us begin. Look at that.
That's quite mesmerising, actually.
What's amazing is we've done so many pasta rollers on the show before. I don't think we've ever done a pasta cutter.
No, we've looked, I think in the Italian gadgets, we looked at kind of the manual rolling, like knives, essentially, that you do on the work surface. So in terms of a test, Ebbers, would you say that we've got an even thickness?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's doing exactly what I expect it to do.
That kind of thing sounds like it's crucial for even cooking and professional presentation.
Yeah?
So now we're going fettuccine.
It's almost too slow. It's actually not great.
Oh, yeah.
That's definitely not one you could do by hand.
It's an all-in-one solution. It's aimed at the small business end of the market. I have seen huge industrial versions of these kind of all-in-one machines, but I think it's that sort of startup, small business, artisanal
Food truck?
like that. I can see it working in those sorts of environments.
I think it needs to be quicker, and I say that if we're talking about professional level, because that took almost 5 minutes to make a single portion of pasta. I want a knob on the front of a stand mixer that turns it up to twice that speed so you can actually get stuff done.
For me, that felt like a good speed where I know that I can hold the pasta as it's going in, catch it as it's coming out. And when we do it on a stand mixer, you always tell me to turn the speed up and I'm less comfortable. But it's because I'm not practiced enough to do it at speed. But if I'm doing this professionally, I'll need to get quicker to make more money.
Yes.
Exactly that. Right, should we cook some?
pasta?
Salted boiling water on the hob for you.
Taggers.
Taggers, ebbers?
Lower it in slowly so you untangle it, and it should only need a minute or two.
Well, we know that this is going to taste good.
Yeah, and you don't really need to eat it to know whether the machine's done its job, because that's an element of the pasta recipe and the cooking time and whatever. We know it did a good job of cutting it because it's all so regular.
I'm just going to be judging the al dente-ness of the pasta.
Well, that's not the machine's role, that's my role. And I've nailed it, so...
Wow, the fennel in that is banging.
I love a bit of aniseed, a bit of acidity from tomato.
Oh my goodness, this
Warmth
delicious.
from chilli, but not like fiery. And those lovely flecks of wild garlic at this time of year.
What do we think about the Imperial Pasta Presto electric pasta machine?
I think it's keen amateur, not pro. But I think it does a great job.
Tell me how much it is, and I'll tell you what I think.
Why don't you tell me how much you think we paid for it, and I'll tell you whether you're right or wrong.
I think it was £150.
Better not be. 3 figures, 101.
I'll give you 3 other figures. £273, 58 pence. 5 figures.
My thoughts are, it's the type of thing that I genuinely actually want. It's
Even
all
at
in
home?
one, in my house.
Yep.
I am not a professional. At that price point, I can't justify it because I won't use it enough. As a professional, I would assume it's not quick enough and powerful enough and actually big enough to produce mass pasta on the scale.
It's a great product. I think it's for the hobbyist, and therefore, if that is your hobby and what you love doing, there is no limit to the amount of money you might spend on getting the right kit. And actually, what I would say is a £40 attachment to a stand mixer, if you already have one, is far better, but you would need 3 different attachments or plugins to get the 3 different thicknesses. So
30 to 50 quid.
it's not unreasonable because it's a good bit of kit. I just don't think it fits into pro or amateur. It's in this weird kind of keen hobbyist in the middle.
Well, the electric pasta machine, is Presto the besto? Or does it just leave you scratching your noodle?
The other machines in industry, like this, fantastic, get it. This particular version, like we said, don't quite know where it sits. And therefore, I regrettably say it leaves me scratching my noodle, but I don't really get it.
Yeah, it's neither of those phrases because they're the 2 extremes and this sits somewhere in the middle. So I'm going to sit on the fence.
Sitting on the fence, from Ebbers, who'd have thought it? Right, let's move on to gadget number 2. We've had some breakfast, want some dessert?
Yeah.
Lift the cloche.
Okay.
I think it could be one of 2 things, but this is probably the giveaway.
So like a creme pattern,
Just for piping.
piping anything, yeah.
Decorative piping with various nozzles.
This is the Debaya Le Tube Pro Pastry Syringe. It's a pressure pastry syringe with the same application as pastry bags. Filling, garnishing, decorating. It's ideal with thick preparations such as creams, thick mousses, and choux pastry.
Why do I use piping bags? This seems to make a lot more sense.
There's very little you're pouring in. You're kind of scooping and spooning in.
Yeah, but you
What
have
I like
to take
about
that, put it over the top of like a Pyrex
Yeah, but that's
dish or
so
something.
much easier because you can turn it inside out and not get anything on the outside. You're going to have to be so careful to get your filling into that and not on the outside, where that, you're straight in. Now, you're right, single-use plastic, but hey, plastic, once you recycle it, isn't actually the end of the world as long as it is recycled properly. This is an everlasting thing that, providing you clean it well, in theory, is going to be better.
We're about to find out.
But I think it really comes into play with the likes of royal icing or firm, stiff things that need a real squeeze on this to force it out here.
So their thinking is that this is more ergonomic. It saves on the single plastic use. Obviously, there are washable piping bags as well that are reusable. This is quicker, cleaner, you can get more in it, and more ergonomic and easier to use. You want to give it a go?
Yeah. Jay, which one do you want us to do?
I think a star nozzle on the cupcakes would be nice. And then what we've got is a pea mousse to fill glasses with.
So nozzle in to the end, screw that in. They've got a good clip mechanism. Now take the top off so we can put our filling in. Just trying to get it in without touching the sides.
I've got
Do you
clean
see,
fingers.
see my issue? Compared to what we've always been trained and used, in my effort to try and prove or disprove whether this is easy or not, I don't feel like it is. So far, this is a lot more difficult to fill than a piping bag. Pushing it down until you've got a vacuum. Like a good cafetiere, 0 waste in that bit. So that is less than in a piping bag, although actually with a scraper you can just scrape it down. So we've got it set to 30 centilitre or 1 ounce.
So that's the portion control. So that means that every squeeze should give you the same amount of icing. So from a professional perspective of portion control, knowing you've got 12 cupcakes that you need to ice, how much icing you're going to need, you're not going to have someone pointing, oh, I want that one because it's got more.
Have you ever been to a shop where anyone who's piped more than 12 things in their life has that problem? We're talking about pro kitchen gadgets here. Any professional can do by eye to within a % tolerance, right?
This feels like a gadget that's aimed at the professional market. Kind of similar to the other. It's been designed for professionals, not necessarily reviewing a gadget that is used in the professional kitchen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know who's using it. If this is for a bakery that's selling cupcakes, and that's what they do day in, day out, you just do it by eye. Because you've got the skill to do it by eye. For someone who hasn't got the skill to do it by eye, you're not doing hundreds of them. You're doing 12 for a party or a bake sale, in which case it doesn't really matter. But that's the keen hobbyist again versus, I think, the professional. It's good for liquids when you're doing soups and you're going around, or sauces on a production line of 100, but this kind of thing, what it is doing very well is this bit. That's a very, very good suction through here. I'm baffled by it, but then I don't work in a bakery. If I did, I don't think I'd need it.
I would genuinely use this, and I would find it helpful because I do not have the piping skills to portion things.
So it does come with multiple canisters, so we can swap those out. We've also got you a pea mousse that we can pipe into glasses. Again, I think portioning is probably a really interesting element there.
And the product comes with 4 of these.
We've got 5.
Wow. Okay.
In this instance, do I need to push out the rest of this before I can replace it, or do I actually just...
You've got the different cylinders, but you've got lids for both ends. So basically...
You can leave what's in there.
You can leave what's in there.
Is the plan.
And store it.
You take that end off, which is your nozzle.
Yep. Pop one of the lids on.
To save what's left for later. And then we need to wash up the end.
Yep.
And the end.
The end, yep.
And then we can go again in a new tube with the new icing.
I'm starting to see your point.
Oh, it's just faff, isn't it? The only thing in this impressive booklet that I think is useful for both portion control and forcing stiff mixtures out, because this would be easy done by hand, is the biscuit press, which is where I thought this was going to go. On that basis, if we were testing that, I think that's something that's difficult to do by hand.
So how much do you think we paid for the Le Tube?
I think it's £50.
It's well made, and it's got a good suction.
And it does, what it's
exactly what you want it to do.
£50? How much?
48.
Oh.
£110.99.
Oh, yeah, see.
I mean, usable forever, in the sense you're not replacing it with rolls of piping bags.
But if
this is your thing, go for it. But for me, it doesn't have a place in a professional kitchen.
Even as a hobbyist, wouldn't it be great to learn how to portion and pipe consistently without having to rely on something like that?
Well, so you're not learning then, are you?
Exactly.
Just do it.
Yeah.
And by the time you've done a batch of 24, you've got the skill.
Well, the Debye Le Tube Pro Pastry Syringe, does it fill you up with joy, or does it just leave you in a sticky situation?
Why is it filling it, if anything?
Well, it could, because if you're piping into eclairs, and again, you want exactly 30 centimetres. That's actually, we've stumbled across a case study for it. When you can't see what you're doing, you're squeezing into an eclair and you can't see inside, you don't know how much you've put in.
Right.
That makes sense. When you can see where you're piping, use these. When you're piping inside of something, but you want portion control, I found a case study for it. You use this one, and you push it inside a profiterole, a choux bun, or an eclair. That makes more sense.
Character art. Have you changed your mind?
I think if eclairs or filling buns of some sort is your thing, and portion control is important, this has a place.
I agree.
Let's bring on a third.
For cupcakes and mousse is a waste of time.
Somewhere you're going to find a cloche.
Are you there, Ebbers?
Yeah.
It's me, Mike.
Let's get rid of that, see if it makes any difference.
Oh!
Does that help?
It's got a nozzle.
Got a twisty thing. It says fall this way, ascend this way. Oh my goodness, it looks angry.
I've seen one of these before, and this is, for the first time today, a pro kitchen gadget.
It's
a cake leveler, icing squarer.
This is awesome.
This is the automatic cake cream spreader, a powerful tool designed for cake decorating. With an equipment revolution range of 0 to 320, I know, this spreader offers flexibility in decorating styles.
I don't know what that
Set
means.
your icing thickness and pipe your icing onto the revolving cake and the machine will do the rest.
Right, I am bang up for this. This is great. I've never ever seen one of these. Didn't even know they existed until now, so brilliant.
It's one of the things that we have always been terrible at Sorted is cake decorating.
Well, I've got a control panel this end. It's got limited buttons.
Oh, wow.
Adjusts both hand and feet, up or down, and rotation options, positive or reversal.
Do you like some cake and some icing?
I just think we should bang on and try it.
Yeah, let's give it a go. Look how easy I'm just getting into this. I think what's going to be quite tricky here is I don't think you normally do it from behind. I think normally it would be easy to be stood in front of this thing. Put the embryo on right, as in right in the centre.
So this is the translation.
And you've got guides round, so it's just inside of that circle all the way round. Next up, adjust the distance of the vertical knife. How thick do we want our icing around the cake? Because it depends on how square we've got it on the.
We can always go in?
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Because then if we've not put the embryo on right, we've got a margin for
He's
error.
calling it an embryo. It's a naked cake that's been translated.
Yeah, it says embryo. Adjust the turntable number. So I'm going to push on here, power on, hand adjust, and we go apply cream evenly. This is where I'm going to go around the front. Now shake the top wheel to adjust the horizontal.
Okay.
Now what they claim is that this can reduce the time to ice a cake from 8 minutes down to 30 seconds. 8 minutes seems pushy to me.
It's mesmerising. I'm starting to feel a bit seasick.
Now just leave it, and it should find its own hole, right?
So supposedly machines like this are found in bakeries, dessert stores, grocery stores.
Getting smoother here. It's just that bit now that's missing.
Yeah, there's one part, isn't there?
There we go. And then the top isn't quite level.
Mate, your sides are looking lovely. It's those gaps.
There is so much icing there, it's just not catching. Not bad, but for something that's such a set square, it's not very square at the top.
So yeah, we've got the sides super smooth, looking great. It's the gaps in and around the corner, the edges at the top that we just can't seem, no matter how much we try and play around with, can't fill them in. You've seen these and they work. And we've watched the videos, so maybe it's a case of just getting familiar with it, playing around until we hit that sweet spot.
There are so many variables at play. Temperature of the room, consistency of the meringue buttercream, speed at which the turntable is turning. It's not an out the box off you go, but then any professional bit of kit needs some professional tuning.
What I would say is straight out the box, it's a lot of fun to play with.
Well, how much do you think we paid for the automatic cake frosting machine?
This has got to be £300.
$250.
We paid £192.99.
It's not for us, but I think, like all of these pro gadgets, if it's something you do and it shaves 10 minutes off icing a cake and you're doing 50 of them a day, it absolutely pays for itself.
I'm just really glad I now know that this exists and I got a chance to play with it.
Well, is this the icing on the cake or does it just leave you in a spin?
For me, it's close to being the icing on the cake. I think we just need to fine-tune our technique. But straight out the box, we managed to get the sides looking fantastic. Ebbers?
I'm getting closer. I think it's the icing on the cake. It just needs a bit more loving.
Well, over to you in the comments. What did you make of those 3 professional kitchen gadgets? If you like the video, give it a like and please keep recommending more gadgets for us to test.
And if you run a professional cake business, this will be on Olio in a matter of days.
Yeah, we're going to donate it.